Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this 4 p.m. session around doing things with teams you have never done. And today we have like a really amazing session around live events, how to do live events, how to do them properly, what is a live event. So we're going to get completely inspired by Dagmar. She's going to introduce herself a little bit later on. My name is Jeroen Jansen. I'm a product marketing manager with Microsoft 365, and I'm in the business of customer success. So everything about adoption and change management, that's my game, and also around Teams as a platform. So welcome today, and let me first introduce Dagmar. Dagmar, welcome that you're here.
Thank you. Yeah. Shall I
introduce yourself? Yes.
Well? Yeah. So I'm Dagmar. I'm an organizational change manager at Avanade, and I'm also involved in adoption and change management with regards to Microsoft 365.
Very cool, very cool. So for today, we have this live event, and during this live event, you can ask all kinds of questions about the topics that we're handling today, and these will be answered by our subject matter experts. And these experts are William and Paul, and they are ready to help you guys out. So if any questions during this presentation, please use the Q&A, and we try to answer most of the questions. And if we see some questions that we think, well, that's worth mentioning, then we will answer the questions during this session. But first, let us start by kicking off looking at the workplace. And the workplace today is changing, and that's because of the pandemic that we're in right now. Before the pandemic, we were mostly going to the office and with all of our meetings in the office, but that has changed during the pandemic. We're now more in a hybrid world, and we're gonna be working more hybrid in the future. If you looked at almost that 70% of all of the people who are working these days are saying, well, I want to continue working hybrid. There's a lot of benefits of working hybrid. Right, starting at home, doing email at home, and then going to the office saves also all these traffic jams that you could be in, or bringing your kids to school in the morning and then go to the office or do something else, or just working from home all of the time. That's a real big benefit of working from home. And the workplace is also changing because there are multiple generations at work nowadays. If we look at our generations, there are 5 generations at work. That means we got all the people who are born after the year 2000. Or people who are born after the 1950s, they can still be at work. And everything between that, these are all the generations that are in the workforce nowadays. And they have different needs. And we're going to talk a bit about that later on. Also, the number of devices that you have. I don't know, Dagmar, but how many devices do you have where you can see your email or chat or whatsoever?
I think 3 or 4.
Yeah, 3 or 4 or something. And that's precisely what's the average, 4 devices. The fun part is if you look at all the devices where you get all these notifications from at home, you have more than that. You have maybe a TV that can has like a pop-up mode, or even your thermostat.
My oven.
Your oven.
Recently.
You have an oven. That's I have a washing machine. So let's talk about household things. I'm just kidding. Again. What we see is that we're also in a lot of teams nowadays, right? So if you look at the amount of teams that you're in, it's 2 times the amount that you were before. If I look at my team's environment, it's enormous. I'm in so many teams. I'm really overwhelmed by that. So cleaning up is really key to make things, keep things working. So that's all the challenges that we have today regarding to the workspace. So how does this new workspace look like, and what challenges do we have even more? If we look at the enterprise knowledge workers, they spend like 28% of their day on email. Do you spend a lot of your day on email, or is it getting less?
It's getting less.
It's getting less. Okay. It's because the use of Teams, more on chatting and stuff like that, that makes it easier. I have some colleagues who have like this policy that's stating that they do not accept emails for internally. They only want to be handled or being addressed through Teams, and only answer to external email. I think that's quite harsh, but that's just me. But they're really strict about that. Yeah. Gives nice discussions now virtual, of course, and not at the coffee corner. We're going to talk about coffee corners.
We're going to talk about teaser.
Yeah. So let's have a look at the workplace, what you can work with. So if you look at all of the things you love to do, how fun would it be to have this all integrated into one single hub? Like integrate all your business processes or the applications that you've built yourself, or bringing the apps that you were used working with, like third-party apps like ServiceNow, Workday, or whatsoever, and then bringing into Teams. This is all possible to do that nowadays. And also communicating, like chatting, meetings, it's all being done by Teams. So Teams will be your single hub, single environment that you can work with. But again, it's not all about Teams. Teams is just a tool. And I always say about the 20-80 rule, that 20%, 80%. 20% is just a tool. It has technology and you can work with it. On the other hand, it's the way that you work with it. I think that's more important. We all work in different manners with these tools. So it's good to know how to approach the way that you are working. And for everybody's differently. If we're going to watch this session about live events, you will learn that for everybody has a different approach on how to handle a live event. What works for you and what doesn't work for you. Maybe that just presenting only slides is something you like, or you want to have more interaction, yes or no. All of these things depends on who you are and what you like to do. So we're going to look at that just a bit later on. But before we do that, let me just share something really cool. What we released yesterday evening late. We released the integration of intranet into Teams. So what you can do now is you can have the integration of an internet site that you have on your SharePoint environment now integrated into Microsoft Teams. So how cool is it during these Easter days that you can do this? It's some manual steps you need to do. It's not an app that you can just download, but there are manual steps that you can do. And at the end, I will share the link on how to do this for your own environment or for your organization's environment, of course. So fun stuff coming your way. But without further ado, I would like to hand it over to Dagmar, and you're going to talk us a bit about live events. So I'm really curious what's going to be about. So take it away.
Yes, I will. But before I say much more, I first want to show you a quick video.
Okay, cool.
So Jeroen, I first have a question for you. Do you think this video was recognizable?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Except for the Twitch, that's something I don't have. But for the rest, I completely understand. Overwhelmed with work, all kind of notifications going on left or right. Absolutely.
Yeah. The nervous eye tick was also new for me.
Yeah.
But I saw it on the video.
You learned so much about videotaping yourself. Maybe I have it also, but I didn't see this yet. So
yeah,
it's
that
a good
might
idea.
be the case. I will take a look at you. And
okay.
I will give you a heads up. Yeah. So I wanted to show this video to everyone, to you, but also to the watchers at home, because I thought it was very recognizable. Because who would have thought that from a year ago, going to work means that you get out of bed, grab some breakfast, and go and sit behind your laptop.
Yeah.
That's a big change. And most of us don't even know what their colleagues look like at the moment.
No.
Except from a
virtually. Yeah.
But sometimes it's a bit of a surprise if someone pops up in real life.
Exactly, like we did, right? So we only met virtually, online with cameras. But again, if you are in real time, it's a bit different. So very cool. Yeah.
And we already joked. that maybe you thought I was a bit.
I thought you were so much taller. Yeah. So.
2 meters.
2 meters, 2 meters and 12. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. A research company, TNO, has done some research at the beginning of Corona, and they found out that 70% of the people wanted to go back to the office, with the main reason that they missed their colleagues. But what we've also seen is that it shifted a bit, because how much fun a colleague is, it doesn't outweigh the benefits of working from home. So recent research from TNO shows that 40% or more than 40% of the people want to combine working from home and going to the office in a highly amount after COVID ends. Yeah. So that means that the way we used to work, we were the things we used to do on the office might be changed forever. And it means something to you, to me, to the people at home.
Absolutely, yeah.
The work and organization.
It's absolutely, it's changing, and that's sometimes for the good, sometimes for the bad. But
it is
change happening.
Yeah, and that's true. And before I dive into that, I want to show you another video. So.
Hey, Paul. Thanks for being here on time. Paul? Hey, Paul, can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Hey guys.
Hey, Tyler.
Sorry I'm late. Having a hard time connecting.
1 second. Paul's having a sound issue.
I can't hear you.
Try adjusting your output settings.
Can you hear me?
It's the gear icon.
Tyler, are you on hotel Wi-Fi?
Yeah, well,
Never mind, I got it. I just had to change a few settings.
Great. Maybe we can get started then. Oh, great.
I think your mic is pushing up your speakers.
My mic?
Do you have headphones?
You want me to put them on?
No, I want you to smell them. No, I want you to put them on. Hey, Beth.
Hey everyone, sorry I'm late. I had to download a new version of the platform.
You should plan extra time for the updates. There's pretty much one every time.
Sounds like someone just joined.
Hey guys, it's John. I had to call in. I'm stuck in traffic. Have I missed anything yet?
No, it would have been nice for you to join the rest of us, but we'll see you when you get home. All right, while everyone is here, finally, Tyler, do you have that financial report?
Well, it's been the last few weeks updating our books, and I got some great news for you. Schedule from this point last year. We had a great Q1.
We lost Tyler, I think.
Am I frozen?
Hey, Trip, I think we lost Tyler.
Yeah, I know we lost Tyler.
Hey guys, it sounded like Tyler was cutting out.
We know, John. All right, while we wait on Tyler, why don't we go over all of the reports? Beth, are you with us?
Oh yeah.
Okay, everyone, I know some of you have to leave soon, but I just wanted to go over a couple of the queries before. Okay, excuse me. My wife's out of town this week. Daddy's, I'm so sorry. Okay, you just spilt grape juice on the carpet. Daddy is in a meeting. Tyler, can you go over the numbers one more time, please?
I thought Beth had an adjustment. Hey, Beth.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys, that's my iTunes.
Hey guys, hang on. I'm gonna join in. Hey, what platform are you guys on? Skype? FaceTime?
It's in the invite.
Oh, never mind. I see it. It's right there in the invite.
Okay, now I can see everybody.
Let's reschedule and let's just do a regular old conference call, okay? Paul, can you have David send out the 9-digit passcode?
I heard you.
Yeah, he's been here the whole time.
All right, everybody. I'll see you later.
So a fun fact with this video is that 4 out of 10 people are often sitting in their sweatpants behind their laptops.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I'm very curious, if you have to be honest,
Yeah.
how often do you wear your sweatpants?
Well, basically, not really sweatpants. I have like these big baggy shorts, like these MC Hammer things, you know, like whoa,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. That's more my thing. So
Okay.
yeah, I'm sitting behind this with that. And you?
Yeah, I think that counts.
Yeah.
I'm the 6 out of 10 people who doesn't wear sweatpants behind their laptop.
Yeah. Okay.
But my boyfriend is. I haven't seen him without sweatpants, I think, since December. So
Okay. Okay.
it's something to work on.
Okay, but he's got multiple sweatpants, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Luckily,
Yeah,
he does.
okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So what's fun about this video is that it's recorded 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but today it's more relevant than ever, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And what you've seen is that the past few years, organizations have had a focus on digitalization.
Yeah.
What you also saw is that with COVID, it gained momentum. So people had to develop faster and adapt themselves to the situation. And what you have seen is that the technology is developing itself, but the behavior of people always stays behind.
Yeah.
It's a bit like the 80-20 percent you just explained. And nowadays it becomes visible, for example, in that physical meetings are copied one-on-one to the online environment. And I know how I feel about that, and I kind of know how you feel about it, but I still want to ask you a question. I also ask a question to my colleagues, and I also want to ask it to you guys at home. And feel free to put your answer down in the Q&A.
Yeah, will be cool. So if you put your answer in the Q&A, then
then maybe we can see it and discuss it over here.
Sure.
So the question I want to ask, if you have to describe in 1 or 2 words what your feeling is with all the virtual events and online meetings you're having, what words would you use?
For me, it would be overwhelmed.
Yeah.
A lot and eventually boring.
Okay.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. We're a bit on the same page, so
okay.
that's cool. So I also asked my colleagues, and the words you see on the screen are the words they answered, or the things they thought about virtual events and online meetings. So you see on the one hand words like convenient, it offers you flexibility, there's room for innovation, it make it possible to have to work borderlessly, But you also see words like it's exhausting and it's always the same. And I even heard it's sometimes boring. Finding a connection is very hard. So you see two sides of it. It can be very positive and people have to get used to it. And what you see is that the virtual or the medium that virtual events offers you can give you lots of chances and lots of benefits, but it's not leveraged right all the time. So you see that by copying the physical meetings one-on-one to the online environment, you just miss out on some important values. And if you utilize the medium of virtual events right, then you will gain some value for you, your work, and your organization.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. And people are basically feeling the same. Somebody say fatigue.
Oh, fatigue,
right? Yeah, absolutely. Meeting fatigue. So absolutely one that I really also resonate to, because it's people have that a lot, really. Yeah. And we try to fix some of these things, but you cannot do all with technology, like having these modes that you can be with your whole group in one view, so that you are sitting in a classroom or something like that. That helps for meeting fatigue, but it's not the holy grail for that. So again, we have to keep it interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. And today we will be talking about that. So we will be talking about how Microsoft Teams and Power Platform can be leveraged to get more value out of those virtual events, and hopefully to make it less more exhausting, fatigue, and less overwhelming. So we will be talking about what a virtual event is. I already named the term, but it's good to be aligned on the definition of the term. We also are going to take a look at a different type of events. There are a lot of them, and we also will take a moment to focus on you and your own virtual events.
Yeah, good question here, and maybe you can answer it later on, so then we can have it in a later discussion. Katie is asking, I have difficulties engaging introvert colleagues. Do you have any tips how to do this with Teams?
Okay, maybe I have. Okay. Maybe I will show it in the example later, and I will come back to that.
Cool, Katie, hang on.
Hang on.
We're here for you.
It's the cliffhanger. So I will try to answer that later. First, I have a question for you, Jeroen.
Okay.
We're going to talk about what a virtual event is. If you have to describe it, what would you say? What is a virtual event?
For me, and that's my personal definition, is that's with a group of people, so let's say more than 3 or 4, where you try to explain, in my case, technology, or present something, not like a real meeting, so not collaborating on stuff. I don't see that as a virtual event. For me, that's just a virtual meeting. But for me, a virtual event is really an event where you can register for and do presentations, something like this, basically, or just behind my laptop at home, in my MC Hammer sweatpants.
MC Hammer pants.
That's an event for me.
Oh, so that's very in line with the definitions I found. So you basically stole my text, but that's okay.
Oh,
we're a team. So if I here show you the definitions, I hope they will come up.
Maybe this was. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yeah. So basically, one definition states that virtual events are about people gathering together with all or some of the attendees not physically at the same place, but connected in a common environment. The next one states that it's about bringing people together digitally.
Okay.
And the definition from Wikipedia, it's always true.
It's always true.
Yeah,
Wikipedia is like the sole truth. Yeah.
Yes, it is. So that's about an online event is about involving people in an interactive way, often aiming to create a similar experience as the physical counterpart. And last but not least, a group of individuals meeting, communicating, learning and engaging together online. So basically what you see is that how you described it and how the definitions describe it, there's one base. It all is about bringing people together digitally. So you stated earlier that you think, for example, normal meetings are not a virtual event, but if you see it in the light of this definition, it's about bringing people together.
Exactly.
So that's
so I have to redefine my own personal definition.
You have.
Learning for me.
Learning. That's where a meeting is about. The last one. Learning.
Learning.
So you have all kinds of events and meetings, and I try to put some on this slide. An event is really defined by different characteristics. One of the characteristics could be audience. So what is your target group the meeting is for? Next one can be frequency. How often does it take place? And maybe the most important one is a goal. What is the goal of a meeting? So if you take a look at this slide, you see that, for example, on one-on-one meetings, you can define meetings like collaboration, the famous coffee talks you were referring to earlier, decision making. And if you go a step further on team and department level, you find meetings like status updates, decision making, workshop or brainstorms, and team activities. The next step on organization level, you can identify meetings like a status update and strategic initiatives, like a cultural change, for example. And externally, there are a lot of the same meetings like collaboration, reviewing, decision making, also workshops, and the famous client events.
Yeah.
So what you nowadays see is that people are just copying these physical events into virtual ones. But I already told you that you have to see this virtual event as a whole new medium with other underlying processes. And if you leverage them right, you gain more value out of those meetings. And also by keeping the goal of such a meeting in mind, by putting that as your starting point, for example, you can align it better with the format of your meeting. So you can gain more value out of it as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what I wanted to do is I want to show you some examples with regards to all these different types of meetings.
It's a good overview to see what's what. I think it's very handy to see this overview. It gives a clear overview of what's going on and when is a status update, when the coffee talk is just one-on-ones, and yeah, cool. Yeah, really nice.
If you really like it, you can put it on a mouse pad and then.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Always,
yeah.
Always
but
good.
I only have touchscreen, so that would be difficult.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
Yeah.
So let's first take a look at collaboration. Back in the days, collaboration took place in a meeting room. So you gathered your colleagues, you get in a room, and you work together. And nowadays, you see that you gather into an online meeting, and there you collaborate with each other. If you have to describe the value of collaboration, what do you think it will bring an organization? What value? It's a hard question.
I think doing more, so that you're able to do more with your colleagues, pick their brains and let them pick your brain, be more creative. Mm-hmm. For me, collaboration is basically about that, being able to have that creativity moment or define who's doing what. So for me, that was collaboration in the old days when we had an office and desks and stuff like that.
And you say in the old days, but I also think we can achieve that in the new days.
Okay.
So I will give you an example of how you could do that.
Yeah.
For example, by adding or integrating other apps like third-party apps into your meeting experience. And I will give you an example of that. So for example, if you create a meeting invite, like this demo meeting, and you invite other people and you send it out, then you can adapt or prepare a meeting up front. So here I can add tabs in which I can select different apps, in this case, Asana. Asana is an app that's about tracking your work progress, so tracking where your project is at, what tasks should be done. And by adding this to your meeting, you're able to add tasks directly from within your meeting screen to your task board on Asana.
Nice.
Next up, I also add the app Forms. So I'll look it up, I will click on Forms, and here I will edit. And Forms is basically about creating quizzes and polls you could launch into your meeting. So by adding it up front, I'm able to already prepare some questions. And in this case, I will create a new poll with the question, what should we prioritize? And I also put some options down there.
Okay.
Like delivering Q1 results, always very important.
It's important.
Yeah. Scheduling the presentation. I think the most important one, ordering pizza.
I go for ordering pizza.
Yeah.
And every time.
Every time
ordering pizza.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, there's nothing better than ordering pizza.
Yeah, I agree. So if you selected all the options, you put down your question, it's already in the meeting and you can join the meeting. And it's very awkward to have a meeting with yourself. Yeah.
And you're here.
I'm here. I'm in both places.
So confusing.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So you find on top of your meeting the different apps you added. You can launch the poll and the poll will become visible for everyone. So here you can select your choice and surprise, surprise, it's 100% ordering pizza.
Boom.
Yeah. So that's something we gave priority, or me and myself gave priority in this meeting. And then we're able to create a task directly out of it. So I open Asana, I type down, type the task. I add it to my project board, set a due date today. and I'm for real eating pizza today, so it's a good day.
Okay. Wednesday's pizza day.
No, not always.
Not always.
But
Okay.
today it is.
Yeah. Big pizza even.
A big pizza, yes. I create the tasks and it will become visible for other participants in the meeting as well. So this is an example of how you can get more out of your collaboration. By adding different apps to your meeting, you're able to make it more interactive. You're able to make it more efficient because people don't have to switch between different screens. They don't have to write down, for example, tasks and put it on a task board later. They can do it directly from within the meeting. And to answer the question of Katie, it was Katie, right?
Yeah.
Who asked it. Introvert people could also be more involved in the meeting by using things like a poll, because it's very easy to get anonymous in a Teams meeting by just turning off your camera, putting out your mic, for example. But with polls, every voice is heard because everyone has to vote. And if they are afraid to talk, for example, or if they are less involved, they still have to bring their thoughts on the table.
Yeah, absolutely. I also have a good idea. I just thought of that, what we did, and also on Katie's remark. If you want to have people who are not who are introvert and not that extrovert into these meetings, you can do a little game like with Kahoot. Or something. That's also nice. Kahoot is also an app that you can have within Teams.
Yeah.
And you can play a game like that. You have dodgy music and you can ask questions. And there's like also a scoreboard, who's the fastest and stuff like that. So that's also to get them engaged into a meeting.
Definitely me, because I'm very competitive. So,
yes, same here.
So always going for the highest score.
Yeah.
So this was an example of collaboration and how you get more out of your collaboration by using virtual events and Microsoft Teams. Another example I want to give is coffee talks, because who doesn't know them?
Yeah.
We already talked about them.
Yeah. Coffee talks at the pantry, where you can just see all your colleagues. And in the old days, it was the smoking room, I guess.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think outside. Yeah, that's long before you were born. This is the old man talking, but people were smoking, and there was like a separate room where people went smoking.
Yeah.
So, but now we call it coffee rooms. Better.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're going over there to just chit chat with your colleagues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically it, because you go for a cup of coffee, you thought you would return in 5 minutes, but you ran into a colleague, so it will take you up half an hour before you return to your desk. Yeah. Do you still have coffee talks, Jeroen? And what do you miss most?
No, it's basically me and my coffee machine.
Yeah.
And it's just going like to me, so it's not a big discussion I have.
Yeah.
No, and I miss those really. For me, creativity basically usually starts with doing these kinds of, and it's not always the coffee machine. It can be at a desk where you meet somebody, or the water cooler device. Where we say no bubbling. Bubbling. I explained you that before. So if you are bubbling, that's not good. So try to get your water without having the bubbles.
Yeah.
It's doable. It takes some time, and it's great skills you need to
develop.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what I really miss. It's I get inspired by other people.
Yeah.
And that unlocks creativity in my case. So I really miss those things. So. Yeah. Can you help out?
Yes, I can. I definitely can. But Avanade, we had the same. So we also missed the coffee talks very much. And some smart people within Avanade has found a solution for that. They create a so-called walk and talk bot. And if you registered for that bot, you were able to add it to your teams. You could find someone based on proximity with which you could walk. You could have a walk and talk. And I would show you that on the screen, so it becomes a bit more clear. So if I have registered for this walk and talk bot, I am able to add it to my Teams environment, and then I'll find it on the left navigation bar. If I don't want it any longer, I can also unpin it, so it becomes it goes away, disappears. And if you open it, you find a welcome message from the walkie-talkie, as we called it, on the middle of your screen. And here you're able to answer the question if you would like to have a walk. I answer yes. Then he asks me where I live, because like I stated, it's based on proximity with your colleagues. So here I place down my location. And then he will take a look if someone lives nearby and also registered for the Walk and Talk app. And he found someone, Ben. He also sends me the link to Ben, so I can easily get in contact with him. And I'm able to ask him the question if he would like to have a walk with me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
It's very cool.
Yeah.
Especially during this COVID period where everybody's just eating.
Yeah.
No, I'm just talking about myself. I'm eating. Sorry about
You're
that.
eating.
I'm eating like everything. But I need to walk more. And this is really easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's also nice because I also know that Ben also wants to have a walk and talk. So I'm not
No, you're not
addressing him randomly. Yeah.
Is there like a limit you can have, like walk and talks? Oh, this is just you getting to a private chat with him and then discuss. Yeah, that's doable. So you can plan and do that. Really nice. I think it's really easy, right? And if they want to know more about this, I think they can get in contact with you guys. We're going to show the contact persons a little bit later on this presentation. So if you want to know more about this, reach out to them and they can tell you more about all of these apps that are available.
Yeah. So basically what you can gain for you and your organization with this app is that you create some more employee engagement, you offer the possibility for social interaction, health, you can have a walk. And also I think what's very important is what you missed most, for example, creativity, because you get in contact with people outside maybe your comfort zone. So you can have those creative moments again with each other.
Great to have that. Yeah, love it. Thanks.
Yeah. So next up, I want to talk with you about status updates. Who doesn't know them? You can have your dailies, you have weekly updates, maybe your monthly department updates. Everyone is familiar with status updates, I think. And in one sector, it's also very important, in the healthcare. And you saw that with COVID, this became a bit troubling because, for example, in the Seattle Children's Hospital, they had a problem with the amount of people who were allowed in a room.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So previously, all the medical specialists could join a patient visit, and now it was only the main practitioner and the nurse.
Yeah.
So to make it possible for all the medical specialists to still be able to see a patient and to hear what's being discussed in such a patient visit, Avanade helped with a Power App solution. And I wanted to show you that. So basically, we created an app which is placed into teams and which is called virtual roundings. And if you open the app, you see the different departments, the different locations. And if you click on those, you find different teams. And within the teams, you find patients with their main practitioner. If you click on such a patient, you can also configure it a bit more. So you can change the name. You can invite, for example, external participants like family members. You can also reset everything so that external participants don't have access any longer. So as a medical specialist, you could join this patient visit by clicking on the Join Dagmar button, and then you will be able to join the patient visit of Lil Beaver. And you'll find the doctor, the main practitioner, and the nurse over there as well. So basically at the same moment, the nurse and the main practitioner are with the patient with a car and a tablet on it, and the patient is able to see the medical specialist and vice versa.
Yeah.
Patients and the family members also have a different app. They have the Patient Join app. So if they open that, if they click on Join, they're also able to participate in the visit as well. And they could also invite family members who should be there, who should hear what's being said. And if they click on Join, they will first be launched into a waiting room. And after it's their turn, after the patient, that they not visit other patient visits, they will be allowed in the room and they will see the medical specialists.
Cool.
So this gives the medical specialist an organized and structured way of joining the different patient visits. And it also offers you a safe way of working on a distance.
Yeah, because it's within the Microsoft environment, it's a secure environment, so people can just we can make sure that it's private what they are doing, so that's always good. And I think also in the Netherlands this could be a good idea for hospitals. You have these specialized hospitals like Antonie van Leeuwenhoek on cancer treatment, Children's Hospital in Utrecht, who's also one of these things where people are not always able to go there directly, or it's too far away. Right? So if you live in Maastricht or Groningen, or even maybe on the Waddeneilanden, then it could be difficult to have that travel every time. So this is I think this is really nice.
Yeah, and so maybe for you at home, this is a bit out of your comfort zone or a bit far away out of the box. But what I wanted to show you with this example is that it really shows the power of combining the strengths of physical events with virtual ones, creating a highly experienced, hybrid
Yeah.
format.
Yeah.
And even after Corona, the Seattle Children's Hospital will consider using this still because it offers a way of teamwork, flexibility also for the medical specialists. They don't have to run between different visits. So basically lots of values.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Really nice.
Yeah. So that about status updates. I also want to show you something about decision making. Decisions come in all shapes and sizes. And with one of our clients, they also make decisions. That's a bit, that's logical, but they work via Scrum and they have an event called Poker. And with Poker, they really grant some values to different tasks on the backlog.
Okay.
And by granting those, they can see, for example, how much work an item will take and how much they have to invest to execute it. And after they granted it, they get in this discussion about the value the item should have. And normally this took place in a room where people had a card game. They just held up the card they would like with the value they would like to grant to the item. But nowadays that's a bit hard. So what the client has thought about is to create a Scrum bot, which they could add to a meeting and which made it possible for all the people to vote and to see each other votes.
Yeah.
So I will show it to you.
Okay.
You have to look on the right side. It's very small, but it's there. So what you see is that the Scrum bot is added to the meeting and it's able to start a vote. You can choose if everyone in the meeting should vote or, for example, a specific amount of people. You can also choose specific names of people who could vote. So if you have a fly on the wall who's just listening, you're able to make sure that he cannot vote, he or she. And after the vote starts, you see the values in the screen, in the chat of the meeting. You can choose your value, the value you want to give to the item. And if you click on submit, you see that the Scrum bot also shows an overview of everyone who has voted already. And if everyone has voted, eventually you will see all the results and all the votes that were given. So you see, for example, that Andrew gave the highest vote and Julian the lowest. And then you can get in discussion with each other about those votes and what value it should be granted eventually. So what you don't see at the moment, or what you do see, is people on the screen. So you see everyone who participates in this meeting. But what you also can do is make sure that you, for example, share the backlog of your team on the screen. So everyone will look at the items you're voting on and they don't have to switch between different screens. So that basically looks a bit the same as the first example I gave, but with Scrum Pokebot and by sharing your screen, you're also able to work more efficiently.
Yeah, nice.
To have teamwork and to incorporate everyone, because everyone have to give their vote and they can't switch between screens. Everything is all in the same hub. You called it.
Exactly.
You called it. So lots of values is coming with this. Yeah. And I'm very curious, do you see other values?
Yeah, what I sometimes work with to get people triggered and get them engaged, I work with something called Neural. That works also for me. Yeah. Because you have like a canvas where people can like do post-its or even some brain dumps, what you can do with that, and then group them together. So that gives me, when I'm in meetings, it gives me the ability to just set up a thing, then go out of the meeting and people can still think about it. They can also do it basically offline. Well, I meant offline, I mean without being in a meeting. Yeah. And when you have a meeting again, you can pull up the board again and you can just mix and match a bit on these things. So there's a lot of things you can do also with it. And tomorrow there will be a session on Mural, Centimeter, and some other cool stuff around being more productive within meetings also. So if you want to see that, you can still register for that, and the links will be available at the end of this session, how to register for that session for tomorrow, or how if you want to watch it back in the rerun whenever you like, on demand. Yeah.
And it's good that you mentioned it, because we are not mentioning it today, but for workshop or brainstorms, that's a really cool feature to work with.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Let's take a next step. Let's take a look at strategic initiatives. Because within Avanade, we thought it would be fun to start a cultural change when Corona or COVID
that's
also
like
starts.
the perfect timing to do things like that. Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So we had a bit of a struggle, because how could you engage people to join this cultural change while there's so much distance between everyone? So what we did is we created an app to gain more engagement of all the people and to have another way of communicating, because people were a bit fed up with all the emails they got and chat messages. So what we did is we created an app. We also pushed it in the navigation bar of Teams, just like you described with the SharePoint, so that it can be integrated with Teams. This app was also integrated. So if people launched their Teams environment, they also found the app in the navigation bar. So in the app, there were different features. For example, a video of our CEO who would describe what the cultural change was about, but also other cool stuff. So I will exit this screen and I will go, for example, to the advent calendar we use. And we use that in December, where every day a Christmas ball would light up. And if you click on that Christmas ball, then you find something cultural change related, like a message, like an assignment, anything like that. We also created different team months. So for example, this month was about marching with your team. By opening it, you see that every week there was new content published.
Okay.
So for example, in week 2, content about inclusion and diversity. And by clicking on it, you see that you have multiple communication channels which you could use, like video messages, where you see what you see on the screen, but also quizzes, for example, or articles, just what you prefer. So for example, people are now watching this video, and after a while they could click on continue and they can fill in a quiz. And what I like most about this app is to make sure that people got engaged, that people were doing this and people would found each other in this cultural change. It was team-based. So if you look very closely, you see that on the top of the screen, I'm part of Team McTeamface.
Yeah.
And we're on rank 2 currently, so we have something to do.
There. Yeah.
Almost there. But by performing those different assignments and activities, we could gain points and eventually win a prize. So it's also a bit of gamification we added in this app to lure people in. So basically, by using such a thing as an app to support this cultural change, we created values like employee engagement, new ways of communicating efficiently, and also, I think what I like most, continuously improvement, because we can see, for example, if people are doing the assignments or not, and if they are not, so we have to adapt it a bit to find a new way to reach people. So, and last but not least, I want to talk with you about client events.
Yeah. Events.
Yeah,
I miss them
good
so
days.
much.
Good days.
Where you have like all these big hallways and all of these people, and at the end you had like beer and bitterballen.
Yeah,
and,
bitterballs.
Bitterballs. Oh man, those were the days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you don't know them at home, you have to come to the Netherlands.
Yes, if you never eaten them, it's really nice. It's I'm not going to. You can say a small coquette. We're not going into the discussion of bitterballs. Okay, you just go ahead. Sorry about that. Yeah.
But they used to be very impressive because you had impressive locations, lots of food, the possibility to network. I'm curious, what do you miss most about those events?
Basically, the networking. I really love that. Meeting up with people, it's always fun. I like the fact that you get, in some point of time, I'm working now for like 25, 26 years in IT. I know a lot of people who are working in IT, and it's like, oh, how are you doing? Long time no see. And so that's something that I really like, and I miss that a lot. I miss those chit-chat moments again. I think that's so important. So the social fact of events is really cool, because for the content, of course, it's really nice, right? But you can also get that from a live meeting or an event like this. But that's before, after, or during breaks. That's basically what I really love about events in this case.
Yeah, I can imagine that.
Yeah.
Our parenting company, Accenture, has created a solution for it. So you could still host virtual events, have that network thing you like, by using this medium of virtual events. So what they did is they created a platform. It looks like this.
Cool,
eh?
Yeah.
You also have virtual cars.
I love virtual parking lots.
Yeah. So by entering this location, you could give or you could sign up with your preferences, and then you could choose different activities to join. So, for example, I could go to the presentation hall. There I find different presentations based on my preferences. For example, I could click on the change management presentation, and I'm able to join this presentation. So here I find the presentation itself. I can do polls. I can find different articles. I can get in contact with the presenter, and much more.
Yeah, really nice. And no queues before the toilets. So
Yeah.
that's also
So that's also a benefit.
Yeah, it's a big benefit.
Yeah, big benefit. You also have a partner hall at which you can find all the partners who are joining in this event, and you could easily get in contact with them. And the nice thing, I think, is as we speak, this platform is being integrated with Microsoft Teams.
Okay,
so
cool.
the presentations you see will all be hosted in Teams, and also the chat functionality will be used to make that network thing possible. So basically, by using this platform for your client events, you still have lots of client experience. You don't have to don't have to dial in on that.
Yeah.
It's still a big experience. When it looks like this, you have the possibility to connect again with people, and there's lots of room for innovation.
Yeah, really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I basically showed you this in the beginning, and I talked you through all the different events, or most of the events you find on this sheet. And what I did is I tried to give you examples on how to use Microsoft Teams and the Power Platform to enrich the experience of a virtual event.
Yeah.
To leverage the medium of virtual events and to get the most value out of those events for you and your business. And I also tried to focus on getting the goal as my starting point. So aligning the format of the meeting, the content of the meeting with what I wanted to achieve with it.
Yeah.
I'm very curious, Jeroen, what appealed to you most?
I like the coffee talks.
Mm-hmm.
I like them a lot. I think that's a really good idea, and also for your health, for your well-being. I think it's really cool to do that even more. And now the days are the sun is shining more. The days are getting better with the temperature, so I think it's a good idea to do. And if we should have this within Microsoft, I will definitely make use of it and start working with colleagues.
Yeah,
looks like fun. Yeah,
that's good to hear. Yeah. So in the beginning, I asked you a question. I asked the people at home a question.
Yeah.
What words would they use, for example, to describe their feeling by the virtual events and online meetings they're having?
Yeah.
And I have another question.
Okay.
So the question, especially for the people at home, is where do you think you're at with your virtual events and online meetings? Are you, for example, at the beginning? Are you copying physical events in an online environment? That's also okay. Don't feel really bad about it. Or are you a step further, like integrating other apps and methods to extend the meeting experience? Or are you maybe in the last and third step by approaching virtual events as a whole new medium with underlying processes? Yeah. So I'm very curious where you're at. You can give your answer in the chat, in the Q&A.
Yeah, I'm really anxious to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And where do you think you're at?
I think I'm between B and C. Look at what environment we are now. This is not something that you would do from a physical event. We're not going to stand here and then have like 5 people in this very small studio, because it looks really big, but again, it's not that big. We even have a light.
Yeah.
Really cool. And we have a plant. It's amazing.
Yeah.
But it's not something that you would do in a normal environment for an event. So I think between B and C, I think we can do even more with tooling and having processes. And I'm one of the few users within Microsoft who use tools like Mural. People are getting used to this already. So there's some things to do, some education still to do, but I think there will be a mix and match for the future, also in these kinds of events and into the virtual events, in the physical events again.
Yeah, I can imagine. I think I'm basically between A and B, most of the time in B, but I struggle with it also sometimes. So I think there's lots of room for improvement.
Yeah. And we got people who are trying to integrate Teams with Trello for that matter, and also people who are copying. So there's different answers to this, and it's good to see what's possible.
Yeah.
And I hope we inspire people to do more.
Yeah. 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 So I have some small steps or some tips.
Yeah.
Because small steps leads to big changes. To give people a head start after this meeting or after this webinar to make sure that they get from A to B to C. The first tip is focus on the goal of the event. So take the goal you have as your starting point and format your meeting in alignment with that goal to gain the most value out of it. Next to that is make it interactive. For example, by using apps or third-party apps we were talking about.
Yeah.
Be prepared. So you can put down a poll during a meeting, but then that can get very chaotic. So try to set it up in front and be prepared for the meeting you're hosting. Besides that, be creative, or try to be creative and think outside the box. For example, if you have to host a client event, just don't copy an online meeting or host an online meeting. Try to make it a bit more special, for example, by using a wine tasting, online wine tasting. In your
Love that, online wine tasting.
Wine tasting and bitter balls.
Online making bitter balls.
Bitter
yes,
balls tasting.
In different,
yeah. I think we found a hole in the market.
A whole new market is you can bring your own fryer.
Yeah.
That's,
that's nice. Yeah. And the last two tips, they're a bit complementary to each other. Namely, find out what motivates your participants to gain engagement, and embrace that people do other stuff. Because I'm very sure, and that's okay, that a lot of people who are listening to this webinar during this webinar already also send out emails, chats.
No, they didn't.
They listened.
I can ask them, and they're going to say no, we did not.
No.
So absolutely.
But if they did, it's okay, because it's a whole new medium.
Okay.
With whole other processes. But it's good to be aware of what motivates those people, because you have to lure them back into your meeting.
Yeah,
so if they really like chocolate and you only give examples with cars, then you lose them. Then they are gone.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Try to take that in consideration. So basically, try to see this virtual event as a whole new medium. Don't copy your one-on-one meetings into it.
No.
Do you see other tips, Jeroen?
I always think you should have a bit of fun within sessions, in events, or in meetings. Like not being that in English called the stiff upper lip, but just relax a bit, right? It's fun. Everybody's in the same situation, sitting at home. Some have dogs who are barking, others have parrots or kids or whatsoever. Cats. I've seen a lot of cats. I've never seen this much cats in my life. People sometimes have complete zoos. I have one colleague who has like a dog. She has everything, and the fun part is it's always barking and shouting. And she's always getting out of meetings. I have to open the door for my dog. I'm sorry, it's too much. But basically, make it fun, right? It's we're in the same situation. Try to be laid back, right? Of course, you need to be serious about a lot of topics, but make fun out of it. Right? Just it's difficult enough, so why not make fun of it? And maybe we should bring this also into the office, right? Also the casual clothing. I'm here now in a jacket and a shirt, but maybe I can
MC Hammer pants.
MC Hammer pants. They're not here. I can show you here. It's not here. That's just
proof.
Proof. It's not that. So that's basically what I would do. Make it fun. Yeah,
that's a good tip, I think. So if you have made those small steps already, or if you want to know more about the possibilities of virtual events in your organization and what you could do, please feel free to contact Marielle or Bartjan.
Yeah,
they're happy to take a moment to look with you at the possibilities for you and your organization. And if you thought it was fun, this webinar, my colleague Renske also hosts a webinar next Wednesday about unlocking the potential of your frontline workers using Teams. Feel free to register. I've seen it already, and it's a must.
It's really cool. It's really cool. We're practicing this one, and it's going to be fun. So on the 7th of April, so that's 2 days after Easter, so on Wednesday, we're going to have this also in the studio. Going to be fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. So
I hand over this clicker back to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So to close it off, some suggested next steps. So reach out to a Microsoft partner or Microsoft itself. So if you have a Microsoft representative, difficult word, reach out to him or her, and she will be happy to help you with the next steps. You can refer to this webinar series. Everybody's aligned with this series, so they know what next steps can be or what partner to reach out to, and so on and so on. We also Avanade is hosting Discover workshops where you can do more with teams. So we will share this deck later on, and I will show you the links in just a sec, where you can book a Discover workshop for your organization, so you can learn more about Microsoft Teams, what the possibility is, or do a dashboard in a day, or whatsoever. So it's right there for you, or start a proof of concept whatsoever. So that's good to know. One other key takeaways, if you want to know more about Microsoft 365 and Microsoft Teams, here are some blogs you can follow. Also, the roadmap is available for you. And if you're an IT admin, Message Center is your best friend. You will find all the information that you need to know about what's coming, what the changes are on the Message Center. So watch out for that. Last but not least, if you're missing some kind of feature and you think this will be a good idea, use user voice. You can submit it or upvote. So if there's already a solution that's what you're thinking of, you can vote for that and you will receive notifications of that voting process. And it's not like all the highest votes we're going to develop, but basically look with you what is the possibility, what we can do. And to close off, if you want to watch this session again and again and again, of course, because it's
On repeat.
on repeat, you can go to aka.ms/TAAP sessions, well, Teams as a platform sessions number 2. There's also TAAP sessions without the number. That's for the first 5 sessions that we did. So we're now starting something new. So TAAP session number 2, you can find this session. And if you want to subscribe for Renske session, you can go to aka.ms/taapwebinars_en for the English version or NL for the Dutch version. And also for the session that we have tomorrow, you can still register if you want to know more about Mural and Centimeter and whatsoever. So it's all there for you. And with that, I would like to thank you so much, Dagmar, for being here, for inspiring us. Hope to see you soon again.
Yeah.
And for you as a viewer, thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a good time, and we hope to speak to you soon. Have a great day. Stay safe. Talk to you later.